I've had the Tesla Holiday Update installed in our Model 3 for a couple of weeks now. Here are some of my thoughts. Since you're watching this video, it's probably safe to assume that you've seen some stuff about the Tesla Holiday Update that came out a couple of weeks ago. I missed out on getting a video out to show you, hey, this is what all of the stuff is supposed to be. But I wanted to give you a review on 4 of the features that came in this Holiday Update. Now, software updates for Teslas are one of the major selling points. A lot of the people that I know that had Teslas or still have Teslas before we purchased this one told me, hey, you get a software update, you download it, and the next thing you know, you've got new features on your car. And I thought, hey, well, that might be cool, but is that really going to happen? And a few months ago, I get a software update, install it, an hour later, the car's got adaptive headlights. And so that's a cool thing. This Holiday Update in the 10 months since we've purchased this car is the most that we've had on one update at all. So that was a big deal, and hearing all the stuff that was coming out was great. Honestly, some things like the rear cross traffic alert is something that a car with this much technology should have already had, in my opinion. I mean, our Chevy Bolt had it and still does, but now this car has it, and it gives you the little video game indicator where, you know, the shots are coming from. But I want to focus on 4 specific features from this update, all of which I was excited about getting, and a couple of them I like. One with some qualifications, and the other 2 I'm disappointed in. And that disappointment is going to come just from me and my situation, and may not apply to you, probably won't apply to you, and some of them are going to show my age. For the record, I'm Generation X, okay? So let's get into it. The first thing that I want to go into is the being able to download Sentry cam and Dashcam footage straight into the phone, straight into my phone from the Tesla app. A couple of days before I had the update installed, I was driving at night, like you do, on a highway doing about 50 miles an hour behind a couple of cars, and someone turned in front of me, making a left turn right in front of me. I had to come to almost a stop. Luckily avoided an accident, saved the clip. And I was telling people about it when I got to where I was going, but I couldn't show it to them because I didn't want to walk them out to my car and do all of that. Well, I get the software update. I could download it, show it to them. That was great. I've seen myself using that feature a lot. The other one that I was really excited about was the weather overlay, and I still like the weather overlay. But I do have some caveats and some exceptions to it. And let me explain on that before I get into the 2 that were really disappointing to me. So I'm going to turn the camera toward the screen. So the first thing I have to do before I put in the weather overlay, just because of how my brain is wired, is I need to change the orientation so that it always points north. If I tap on the screen, I can hit this the cloud button, boom. And then I get the weather overlay. And we've got some drizzle in the area. You can kind of see it over here. Now, here are a couple of things that I don't necessarily like about this immediately, is it zooms out so far. I'm here south of Fort Worth, and it goes all the way as far west as Cisco. That is a long distance. So it zooms out quite a bit, but I can zoom it in, and that's the limit. Is I can only zoom it in to the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, and just I can't get super close, but it does put the weather overlay on it. It is, looking at the stamp on the screen, it's essentially the Weather Channel app, but check this out. It only, I'm going to pause it and go back to the beginning, only at the very beginning does it show the radar now. And then aside from that, it is telling you what the Weather Channel's computer model thinks that the radar is going to do. And while that's neat, I prefer to see what the radar's actually been doing, and I can't get it to show the real time. It's just showing the projection. But I do see myself using this a lot. Most likely when I'm going to use this this is Texas. When it gets to be springtime, we get some severe thunderstorms that roll through here. I always like to know what I'm going to be driving through on my way home from work or on my way to work or things like that. And when one of those storms rolls through, I will absolutely do a video to show what this weather radar overlay looks like. I've been wanting to get something like that on the screen for a while, and I'm glad it's there. It's not as perfect as I would like it to be, but it's still good, and I'm still going to be using it. Now let me get into the two things that really disappointed me. First off, I am and have been for a while a subscriber to SiriusXM. We have the SiriusXM radio in the Bolt, so I have a subscription there, and we added on the streaming app on my phone, and that is how I have been listening to SiriusXM in this car, is streaming it through my phone and connecting through Bluetooth through the car's center screen. It helps to have this little CarPlay display screen here as well, but I've got a video on that if you want to see it. So I was excited to get SiriusXM access within the main screen of the Tesla. The problem is, it will not let me log in to my existing streaming account. That's what this screen is doing, is it's streaming SiriusXM. It did not download the hardware for this to be a satellite radio receiver or a satellite radio antenna. It's streaming it just like it does with Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything like that. And with my Spotify subscription, I don't have to pay an additional subscription. I have a family plan with it that I don't have to pay for it to stream it in this car. But with SiriusXM, I'm going to have to. Right now, I'm enjoying listening to it on the operating it through the screen. It's easier to deal with that way. But I don't know how much it's going to cost when this 30-day trial that came with it expires, but it will not allow me to log into my existing SiriusXM app account. So I may be looking at paying an extra $10 to $15 to $20. I don't know what it's going to be, just so that I don't have to access it through my phone and the Bluetooth when I can continue doing what I've been doing and not pay any more money. So having the access to SiriusXM was a bit of a disappointment. The big disappointment for me was being able to use my watch to connect to the car, to get the Tesla app on my Apple Watch. And as soon as this software update installed, I spent a long time trying to get the app to appear on my watch and made sure the Tesla app was updated and all of that. And it wasn't working. And then I read about why it wasn't working in the morning. So here's the deal. The short version is I cannot access the Tesla app on this watch. So using this watch to get into the car isn't going to work. I can still use my watch with Tessie and have a lot of the features that way. But the software update from Tesla requires Apple Watch OS 11 or higher for it to install and for it to work properly. Well, this is where my problem with the state of the technological world is right now, is this whole idea of planned obsolescence. For instance, I have a Chromebook, a Samsung Chromebook, so it's not just Apple that does this, Google does it too, that is a brick now. It works fine, but it can't access a lot of the video players or things like that anymore because the Chrome OS will no longer update because the Chromebook is 4 years old. That's all it is 4 years old, and it won't update anymore. That's the problem with my watch. Watch OS 11 requires your Apple Watch to be a Series 6 or newer. Mine is a Series 4. So yeah, it's an old watch. This thing is 6, almost 7 years old. But it still works fine. It still does everything I need it to do. I just use it as a watch, and track my steps and things like that. But the battery gets me through a day. Sometimes if I have a 17-hour day with my watch on my wrist, the battery's really low by the end of the day. And I know I'm going to have to replace it eventually because of the battery is going to degrade to the point that I'm going to have to. But I can't update it anymore. It's at its maximum watch OS, which is I think 10.6 or something like that, which means I can't get watch OS 11, which means I cannot get the Tesla app on my phone, on my watch. I can get it on my phone, but not on my watch. I would have to buy a new Apple Watch or a newer Apple Watch to be able to use it. And that's a first world problem, and it probably doesn't apply to most of you out there, but it's frustrating to me that this whole idea of planned obsolescence with technology, that we're going to design it so that people need to upgrade in a finite amount of time, and that finite amount of time seems to be getting shorter and shorter, doesn't it? Like I had to upgrade my phone because my last one just bricked because of a software update. And if you watch our road trip video, you'll see the adventures of how that affected it. And we've got a solution coming up. But as I get to play with some more of the stuff in the holiday update, I'll update you as we go. Give me your thoughts on the software update or the whole idea of planned obsolescence with technology. That could be a rant, and I kind of wish Rachel was here because she could go for another 10 minutes on that. But thanks for watching, guys. We've got some more stuff coming up. We'll see you on the next one.